Hey everybody, Nick from TriRig here. I am here with pro triathlete Timmy Winslow. Timmy, for the last year or so, has been working really closely with TriRig. He's not racing here today, but he's here. I think, Timmy, this is your first time on the island during race week.
That's
that
correct,
right?
Yep.
So, I've been here a few more times than Timmy, but while I just kind of pretend to know what I'm doing, Timmy is actually a pro racer with his pro card. He occasionally wins races and, you know, is generally able to run circles around any of us watching here. So, Timmy, I'm curious, what are your first impressions of the island and race week in general?
Yeah, I guess first impression is it's hot, it's humid. You seem to be searching for AC and shade whenever you can. Lots of athletes around. It's a little bit different from what I've heard, just it being a men-only year. And yeah, lots of people, it seems like, out and about, sort of getting their final touches in their race prep. Sometimes it seems like, in my opinion, they're going way too hard, especially around town.
Yeah.
Definitely have to be careful. We saw a guy get hit by a car the other day, so yeah, it's been pretty fun and interesting, and just walking around the Ironman Expo, it's been great getting to see all the different brands and all the athletes setups, and yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, right before we started rolling, you were just asking me if it seemed different to me this year versus in years past, and immediately I was like, yes, and we need to start rolling so we can talk about this. Sort of one of the first things I noticed is really how clean everyone's setup is. I posted a small gallery yesterday about that, but generally athletes' positions I think are getting a lot better. I really think this year, I was just talking to TJ Tollickson at Diamond about this, I think this is the year of the double bottle up front. In years past, we would see one bottle between the arms and two behind the saddle, and now for a lot of athletes that's reversed, with just a single saddle bottle as kind of the reserve tank, and then two up front really trying to fill that space. So I know that's something you've been noticing in general in the pro ranks, but I feel like it's all over the age grouper field even here as well.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that Ben Deal and myself have been pushing TriRig to kind of innovate, especially in the front end hydration. It's really important to just have everything up front. I think you know, it's sort of, we've seen a trickle down from the pros into the age groupers of, you know, we don't want to be, you know, either dropping a bottle or fumbling with a bottle behind you, because then you have to go to the bullhorns, you have to reach back, and then that's just all creating more aerodynamic drag. And so having everything in front, as well as Ironman banning, you know, the bottle down the chest, and so people are experimenting with different heights and widths and everything, and so yeah, it's awesome to see the innovation, and that's one thing that just makes triathlon so special, is we're not bound by UCI rules, and so everybody can kind of just innovate. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's true. That's always a huge critical component of Ironman racing in general, but especially here at Kona. As you were just noticing, it's hot here. It's a lot hotter than I think most people realize, not having been to the island. It's like oppressively humid and hot. And I mean, people race in Florida and New Orleans in hot and humid environments, but I don't know, whenever I'm here and I go for runs, I notice, like, you know, my average mile time just goes up 10-20 seconds immediately. But also, as you can see, it's just gorgeous. There's something so special about being here. I think, as you notice, like, it's busy, but it is far less busy now that they've split the field in half. I mean, it was always twice as much before, where you saw a car accident, we might see 3 in a day previously, because there were so many. But what are you looking forward to seeing on race day?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think just the way that the sport has elevated, coming out of COVID especially, it's just, you know, the nutrition and hydration science has gotten way more dialed in, whether that's different sensors that you can put on your body for, you know, sweat rate, for lactate testing. And just the game has elevated a ton, which just makes the racing that much closer. So even though, you know, it's still a 7.5+ hour race, the action is now just getting closer and closer. So the time gaps, you know, we used to see you know, maybe the first 3 guys like way off the front. Now you're just seeing more pack dynamics come into play, which really pushes the marathon, and that's what makes it super exciting, because once the action gets to the run, it's just guys pushing the pace and really seeing like who's gonna crack, like who can go beyond what they thought and still be able to hang in there, and like massive blow-ups, you know. It's kind of like NASCAR, where we're all just sort of waiting of like, oh, what's gonna happen, and that's what makes it cool and exciting. So
yeah, I think that's a really great point, and probably something good to wrap up on. Is people every year there's a little bit of a analysis about, you know, where is the crux of this race going to be? Is this year going to be a bike race? Is this year going to be a marathon? But we forget it really is a triathlon, and even in years where, you know, there's a really dominant cyclist, for example, that cyclist still has to be able to put together a good marathon and not blow up.
For sure.
You know, one example that comes to mind is like Chris Lieto, you know, like 8-10 years ago, was really heavily favored, puts together a fantastic bike leg, and then cramps on the run. If you can't finish your run, you don't win. So it really is a triathlon, and I can't wait to see some of those fireworks as well. Thanks so much for talking with us. And check back into trireg.com for more photos and coverage of this year's race. Thanks.